In the busy streets of Kasua, Ghana, everyone knew Abena Mensah. She was the only daughter of a wealthy transport businessman, and her life was soft, sweet, and shiny. She wore designer slippers to buy waki, shouted at shop attendants like they were her house helps, and spoke to elders without respect. "Are you stupid?" she would snap. "Do you know who my father is?" The people in the area whispered that the girl was too arrogant for her own good. But Abena didn't care. In her mind, poor people were just lazy idiots who didn't try hard enough. Her father always warned her, but she would roll her eyes and say, "Daddy, please don't stress me." She drove past roadside hawkers without seeing them as human beings. Even her friends followed her because of money, not love. As this story begins, we want to know where you're watching from. Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, California, Jamaica, Trinidad, New York, Florida, Kenya, or London. Drop it in the comments and let us know. We see you. But life in Kasua can change like Harmattan wind. One evening, news came that shook their mansion. Her father's business partner had run away with millions. Court cases followed. Bank accounts were frozen. Cars were seized. Within weeks, the mansion gates were locked by the bank. Abena, the rich queen of Kasua, was suddenly standing outside with just 2 suitcases. For the first time in her life, nobody called her madam. And things were about to get worse.
Abena never believed poverty could smell like this. The small single room her mother managed to rent in a crowded part of Kasua had no air conditioner, no tiled floor, not even proper water flow. Mosquitoes hummed like they were doing choir practice. The first night, she cried like a baby. "Hey God, why me?" she complained. But deep down, she was still arrogant. She kept saying the whole thing was temporary, that her father would bounce back and they would return to their big house. When their little money left finished, reality slapped her hard. She had to find work. Imagine Abena, who once insulted shop attendants, now standing in front of a boutique asking for a sales girl job. The manager looked her up and down. "Can you even wake up early?" he asked. She forced a smile. On her 3rd day, she shouted at a customer who tried to bargain. "If you don't have money, move," she snapped. The woman reported her immediately. She was fired before the week ended. The next job was at a small restaurant. She complained about the heat in the kitchen. "This place is too hot. I can't kill myself here," she muttered loudly. Customers heard. The owner heard. Another dismissal. People in the area began to talk. "Isn't that the arrogant rich girl?" some would whisper. Even when she tried working at a phone accessory shop, she argued with her supervisor, calling him stupid for correcting her. 3 jobs gone in 1 month. Now food was becoming a problem. Pride was no longer paying bills. And the worst part, something darker was coming that would humble her completely.
Hunger does not respect beauty, pride, or former riches. It humbles everyone. By the 2nd month, Abena's cheeks were no longer full and glowing. Her once smooth designer lifestyle had turned into daily struggle. Sometimes, she would wake up and pretend she was not hungry so her mother could eat the small curry left in the bowl. But even in hardship, her tongue was still sharp. She got another opportunity to work at a small supermarket near the Kasua New Market. The owner, a strict middle-aged woman, warned her on the first day. "Here, we respect customers. No insults, no arrogance." Abena nodded, pretending she had changed. For 1 week, she behaved well. She even greeted people with a fake smile. Then one afternoon, a young boy mistakenly dropped a crate of drinks while trying to help. The bottle shattered everywhere. Without thinking, Abena shouted, "You idiot, can't you see properly?" The boy froze in shock. Customers turned to look. The owner walked in slowly, disappointment written all over her face. "After all I told you?" she asked quietly. Abena tried to defend herself, but the stupid boy spoiled everything. That was the end. Fired again. Now word was spreading across Kasua. Employers began recognizing her name. "That arrogant girl," they would say. No one wanted trouble in their business. Days turned into weeks without work. Her father, already sick from stress, became weaker. Hospital bills added pressure. Landlords don't listen to excuses, and the rent deadline was approaching. One evening, as rain poured heavily and water flooded parts of the compound, the landlord stood at their door. "If you don't pay by next week, pack out," he warned. For the first time, fear entered Abena's heart. Real fear.
But she still had no idea that what was coming next would break her completely.
The next week came faster than Abena expected. No job, no savings, no helper. Her father's condition grew worse, and hospital visits became more frequent. One afternoon, while her mother was out looking for small work, her father collapsed inside the hot single room. Abena panicked. "Daddy, Daddy!" she screamed, shaking him. Neighbors rushed in to help. They contributed small money for a taxi to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctor spoke plainly. "He needs proper treatment and medication. If you delay, it will be dangerous." The cost sounded like a joke to Abena, but it was not funny. It was more than everything they had left in the world. She swallowed her pride and went around Kasoa looking for help. She visited old friends who once enjoyed her father's money. Some avoided her calls. One even said, Abena, these days everyone has their own problem. Another closed the gate on her face. The same girl who once called people stupid was now begging. Life has a way of teaching lessons without mercy. Desperate, she went back to one of the shops that fired her and pleaded for another chance. The owner shook his head. "You insult customers. You don't respect anybody. Business is not for arrogant people." As she walked home under the scorching sun, slippers dusty, eyes swollen from crying, she finally whispered to herself, "Was I the idiot all along?" That evening, the landlord returned, angry. "Tomorrow morning, if I don't see money, pack your things," he barked. Her father was still in the hospital. They had nowhere to go. For the first time in her life, Abena knelt down and cried, not out of anger, but regret. But sometimes when a heart truly breaks, something new begins.
That night, Abena did not sleep. She sat outside the compound, staring at the dusty Kasoa road where trotros passed with loud horns. For the first time, she replayed her life like a movie. Every insult, every time she called someone stupid, every moment she acted like others were nothing, tears rolled down quietly. "God, if you help my father survive, I will change," she whispered. Early the next morning, she did something nobody expected. She went back to the small supermarket and knelt down in front of the owner. "Please, I was arrogant. I was foolish. I disrespected people. I am sorry. Give me one last chance, even if it is cleaning work." The woman looked at her for a long moment. This was not the same proud girl from before. This one looked broken, but sincere. She was given a final chance, starting from the lowest position, sweeping floors, arranging shelves, smiling at customers. And this time, she swallowed every insult and correction. Slowly, customers began to like her. They noticed her change. Someone even helped her connect to a small community support group that contributed towards her father's treatment. It was not magic money, but it was enough to stabilize him. Months passed. Abena became known not as the arrogant rich girl, but as the humble, hardworking lady at the supermarket. Poverty taught her what money never could: respect. Before we end, tell us where you're watching from: Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, California, Jamaica, Trinidad, New York, Florida, Kenya, or London. We would love to know. And to everyone who enjoys stories like this, we truly appreciate those who like, follow, and share our videos with at least 3 friends or family members on WhatsApp. Even if you choose not to follow, please make sure you pass this story on to someone. You never know who needs this lesson today. Moral lesson: pride can destroy what wealth builds. Respect people while you are up, because life can change at any moment. Humility opens doors that arrogance permanently shuts.